every once in a great while.
This is when the computer shuts down.
Every once in a great while.
Go home.
There is a...
Quit watching.
A movement.
Get out while you can.
There's a moment that comes when two things collide, like
Hatred
college betting and America.
Disgustingness.
And that's what's going on here. Ladies and gentlemen,
no.
Please welcome back America's favorite segment. It's Free Money!
Least favorite segment.
Free Money! My college football picks against the spread. And last week, 6-3. 6-3, baby! Although, it was funny because I had like a couple picks that I was super proud of that I hit. Like, for example, I called Rice was going to beat Louisiana Tech. They didn't, but they covered.
Which didn't happen. Which I still think you were supposed to. I still think you were supposed to. I was supposed to get an Ashley's right out of that one.
The name of the game is here. I nailed that. There were a few others that I felt just like really good. I was like, yes, pumping my fist whenever it came down. But then there were like some hilariously wrong picks. Like I picked North Texas to cover that 7 against Houston, which was just hilariously wrong. I also picked Kansas to cover the 15.5.
Yeah, that was
against
just
TCU.
Not smart.
Hilariously wrong. So it's weird. And then UTEP basically just like didn't lose by enough. They didn't lose by enough, so they actually covered. So, but what's interesting, it was a great week, 6-3. I'm 24-9-3 on the year. So far, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, only 7 games this week.
Yeah, it's a lighter batch.
We got a couple of in-state teams playing each other in one case, and then also a couple of teams off. So Ashley, why don't we kick it off?
If we have to, I guess we'll go ahead and get started here. We've got 21 Oklahoma State taking on the Red Raiders, 11 a.m. on Saturday. OSU favored by 10.
So Oklahoma State is coming off of that really impressive win last week over Kansas State, and I think that there's a lot of folks who are really fired up about what they're doing right now. I am less fired up about them, and I'll tell you why. I'm not quite sure I buy what they're selling. I think that the offense is pretty good, but I think that the defense kind of was able to flex on a team that was just not as good. Now they have to go on the road to Lubbock. Tech's coming home, and I know what people are thinking. Oh, well, Tech, what's going on here? And I'm not here to tell you that I think that Tech is this world beater. But a double-digit home dog is a little bit too much for me to feel like it's going to happen. I think Tech plays better at home. This is their first home game in a month, basically.
I think it would help Tech a lot if it was not at 11. I think that would help a little bit more, bringing fans in.
There is that, but you don't got to worry about Tech fans showing up and being rowdy. I think this...
mimosas start flowing.
I will just say that I think this game is closer. And as a result, I'll take the double-digit home dog in this one. I'm going to take Tech plus 10. I think they keep this game in single digits. I like them to cover that. So that is what I'm going to go with. What's next, Ashley?
All right, up next, another Big 12 matchup here. TCU at Iowa State, 11 o'clock a.m. Again, on Saturday, Iowa State favored by 3.5. So
yeah, so Iowa State coming off of a loss last week to Baylor. They do come home as well. This is a really interesting matchup in the sense that I think that kind of both offenses are kind of scuffling right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I think these teams are in many respects kind of mirror images of one another in the sense that I think that the defenses are looking pretty good, but the offenses are scuffling a little bit. Brock Purdy was not good against Baylor for large stretches of that game. Now they come home. I think TCU's the better team. And I think that maybe they figured out if they just stick with Max Duggan at quarterback. I think that, but the biggest thing for me is that are they going to be able to run the ball? They've got to be able to run the ball. If they run the ball, then I think they're going to be able to make it work. So, I think.
Do you think Iowa State will be like a little bit kind of wanting to get a little bit of revenge for that Baylor game because they came so close?
I think
and
there's
definitely
an element of coming home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And coming home and wanting to kind of get that taste out of your mouth. I think TCU is going to be able to run the ball, and that's going to be the name of the game. If they're able to run the ball, I think they're going to be able to do it. I think it's a coin flip type game. I might as well tank the points. I'll also be a Texas homer. I'm going to take TCU plus 3.5. I think they keep this game close. I think TCU does they've already gone on the road and beaten Purdue, so they've proven they can go on the road, and a relatively long road trip as well. I like TCU plus 3.5. I'm going to take them. What's next, Ashley?
Sticking with the Big 12 on this one, Texas Longhorns head over to West Virginia, 2:30 p.m. on Saturday. Texas is favored by 10.5.
Texas going to West by God, Virginia.
Country road, take me home. They sing that every time. No?
No, go on.
No, that's the extent of my singing career.
No, and here with a song is Ashley Pickle. Okay, so West Virginia is a 3-1 team, but I think that they're I think they're a fraud. I think they're a fraud. I think they're going to get exposed here. I think their defense is not good. And the way that Texas's offense is cooking right now, I think that they're going to be able to light up what has been a relatively middling West Virginia defense. On the other side of it, look, this offense is nothing really to write home about. They throw the ball okay, but they don't push it down the field. And to me, if you're going to beat Texas, you've got to beat them over the top. Expose those safeties, expose the corners. To me, this is a game that comes down to whether or not Texas is focused. We all know what this is. This is the quintessential trap game. Mm-hmm. Okay, they are on the road against a flawed but capable team in West Virginia, and next week is Red River. Mm-hmm. This is a trap game. Can they come out focused and take care of business against a team they should take care of? That is the only thing that like the numbers to me point towards Texas. And I'm going to stick with the numbers. But I'm going to put that little asterisk on there that this does have trap game written all over it. I'm going to take Texas minus 10.5. I don't feel great about it, but I just think they're the better team. Yeah. And I think that will win out in the end. But I do wonder if there's a mental edge here that could lean towards West Virginia. That's the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause. I will take Texas minus 10.5 with a small asterisk of just keep an eye on it. Is there some sort of look-ahead factor? What's next, Ashley?
All right, we'll round out the Big 12 slate here. Baylor heading to Kansas State, 2:30 p.m. again on Saturday. Kansas State favored by 1.5.
So this is basically a question of, do you think that Kansas State is a fraud? Like, that's basically more or less what it is. That a lot of the hype around Kansas State right now is kind of based on a win over Mississippi State, and I think we're starting to figure out that Mississippi State just ain't all that good. And so I'm starting to wonder if that's kind of we are kind of overstating that a little bit. Now they do have to go to Manhattan. Baylor has to go to Manhattan, and let's be real, the offense started off good, faded. You know, I want to see something from the offensive perspective here from Baylor. Kansas State's defense, I do think, is pretty good, and that is going to they're going to need a very sharp Charlie Brewer in order to take care, if they're going to come out with this win. I am very interested to see what the Baylor defense is able to do, because last week was really, really good, going up against a Kansas State offense that is very much reliant on running the ball. Mm-hmm. But Baylor has been one of the better teams in the nation at holding down rushing offenses. They're 16th in the nation in opponents' yards per rush. Pretty darn good. I am going to take the points. I'm going to take Baylor plus 1.5. I think they've got a really good chance to win this game outright. But I do think this is one of those coin flip type games. I'm going to take Baylor plus 1.5, but they've got to make sure that offense gets cooking. If the offense gets going, I think the defense is going to be able to shut down Kansas State. I don't think they necessarily have to worry about being outscored. My question is going to be, can the offense find a little bit of traction? If the offense finds some traction, I think Baylor will be fine. I'm going to take Baylor plus 1.5. All Texas teams so far. What's next?
Another Texas team here.
Well, they're all Texas teams. I don't know if you're familiar with the thrust of the show. Go on.
I have the power to shut down the computer. I'm just going to remind you of that again. Rice at UAB. Conference USA matchup 6 p.m. on Saturday. UAB favored by 9 at home.
Yeah. So everything in this game points to UAB. Pretty much everything is that. Now the one thing that I think will be very interesting. This is a game that the UAB, or rather the Rice defense, is going to have to win this game for them. They're going to have to keep this close. Because right now, UAB's defense is really, really solid, and they are especially solid against the run. Okay? They are the second best rush defense in the nation. Going up against a team that can't pass in Rice. That's bad news bears. And so if you are Rice, you've got to either throw the ball, which they haven't shown they can do this year.
Not good.
Or the defense is going to have to basically pitch a shutout. UAB's offense is really nothing to write home about. I don't think they're all that great. The passing attack is okay, but they're kind of relying on hitting big plays. Most importantly, though, this is Rice going on the road. I think Rice is going to stun somebody at home. They very nearly did it last week against Louisiana Tech. But on the road, probably asking too much. I'm going to take UAB -9 in this one. I think they're going to win by probably 10 to 12 points.
Did you learn your lesson from last week?
No, I'm still a believer in Rice.
Not to go with Rice.
No, hey, I was right.
They covered. You were pretty adamant on them.
What's the thrust of this segment?
Oh my goodness! I will shut down this computer.
Just saying. What's
We
next,
have
Ashley?
2 left. We've got Tulsa heading down to number 24 SMU. 6:30 p.m. Saturday in Dallas. SMU favored by 13.
So this is all about where SMU's head is at. They are ranked for the first time since 1984. This team is feeling very good about themselves, and they are playing a team that they are better than. Plain and simple, they are better than. I think that they've got the edge every time they have the ball. I think they have the edge. Their offense is really going to be able to do some good things against what has been a relatively mediocre Tulsa team. I think that a lot of these things point to SMU. The biggest question for me is going to be where their head is at. Have they spent the week reading their own press clippings? They should come out there and they should honestly throttle Tulsa. Their offense has been great against a Tulsa defense that is okay, and Tulsa's offense has been not good. They cannot run the ball. Their passing game is really average. This is not a very good Tulsa team, at least on the offensive perspective. This lines up for a big, emphatic win coming home after winning the Skillet. A big, emphatic win over Tulsa, coming home after beating USF too. This is about where SMU's head is at. I buy it. I'm buying it on the ponies. I like SMU -13. I think they're just, again, it's kind of like the Texas game in the sense that it's about mental. It's about where their head is at. All the signs. SMU is a better team than Tulsa. They need to go out there and show it on Saturday. Jump out to an early lead. It's a night game in Dallas. Hopefully people will show up. Come on, SMU. Let's fill up that place.
Yeah.
Let's fill up that place. I like SMU -13. And finally,
it is the battle of someone's got to win this game. UTSA heading on over to El Paso, 7 p.m. Saturday night. UTEP favored by 1.5, which is is that the first time UTEP has been favored this season?
It is the first time they've been favored against an FBS team. Yes, they were favored against Houston Baptist if you count those things.
Yeah,
we don't. Yeah, it is actually, believe it or not, the third time in their last 31 games against FBS opponents that they are favored. They are favored, I believe, last year against Rice, and I believe the year before against Rice. That's it. This is the first time they've been favored against a team other than Rice in years. 2016.
Good Lord.
Look, this game's going to be ugly. I'm probably going to watch every dang snap.
It's not going to be a pretty one.
I'm probably going to watch every snap because I'm a psychopath. But if you're looking for an edge in this one, I would say that
Whoever scores more points.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. Both of these offenses are real bad. Both these offenses are real bad.
Fact.
But I do think that UTEP has, or rather, I wonder if UTEP has the better defense, and especially being at home. That is going to be the thing. UTSA's defense has been really bad, and you're asking them to go on the road and win and beat this team. Now, if you were to ask me in a vacuum, who do I think is the better team? I think UTSA is probably the more talented team, but I'm going to have to pick somebody. I'm going to take the home team. I like UTEP -1.5. I think the Miners get it done. That's where I'm at on it. I think that in the end, UTEP's defense is a little bit better, and that gives them the edge. But this is, look, if this were an honest financial segment, I would tell you to stay away from this game. Stay far away from this game.
Remove yourself from the situation.
Don't bet on this game. Don't bet on this game. But the whole idea of this segment is I have to pick the game. I'm going to take UTEP -1.5. I feel 0% confident in it. That is my pick. So, your free money picks for Week 6. I like Texas Tech +10 at home against Oklahoma State. I like TCU +3.5 at Iowa State. I like Texas -10.5 at West Virginia. I like Baylor +1.5 at Kansas State. I like UAB -9 at home against Rice. I like SMU -13 at home against Tulsa. And I like UTEP -1.5 kind of at home against UTSA.
Ish.
And that
kind of.
is free money.